Hiya, welcome back to Kayak Fishing Cornwall. For those that don't know me, my name's Owen. I live in England, in Cornwall, like the southern westerly most tip, and I love to go fishing off the coastline around here on my kayak, usually with lures, and I'm usually after bass and pollock. Today we're launching from Poldhu Cove for the first time on the channel. We're going to just have a quick look at what it's like to launch here. I will take you across the beach and see what we can find out on the water. We have got here, well, I'm parked here in the car park, which is massive, and there's public toilets, and it's not a rip-off. In the summer it'll get really busy. On a nice day it's heaving down here. Even actually on miserable days like today, it's a popular one for dog walkers and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not very nice today up here, but the sea is flat. It looks really good, and the tides are big, so I'm just killing some time till slack water, then I'm going to get out there and fish the incoming tide. So the tide is out at the moment, and we've got big tide, so that's probably about as far as it ever goes out. So, you know, what's that, a couple of 100 meters? It's not a huge pool, and even at low tide. High tide comes, you know, pretty close up here, so it's not far to go at all if the tide's high. There's a shop here on the left which does all sorts of hot food and drinks, and as you can see, a little picnic area and that. Yeah, very popular with dog walkers. Beautiful little spot actually. Hello, welcome to Poldhu Cove. It's a pretty miserable day, to be fair. So hopefully I won't spend all my time wiping water off the lenses, and I'll get some footage, but I'm just gonna give it a go. Anyway, yeah, launching at Poldhu Cove today. We've had consistent westerly winds recently. No, easterlies, sorry, we've had like weeks of easterlies. So this coast is really flat, and the water's really clear. The tides at the moment are pretty big, so I didn't want to go, you know, too far offshore, and there's a bit of an offshore wind here, but yes, Poldhu, because I can get in tight to the cliffs here, and it'll give me some good shelter from the wind. Ain't going to help much with the rain, but the forecast rain to sort of die a bit, hopefully, as we go towards high tide. I don't look well. This is actually the first time I've launched from Poldhu, because it's a beach launch, and I tend to avoid those. But it looked pretty flat. But now I've launched here, I mean, this swell that's just about to go under me is the biggest I've seen, and whilst not big, it still is going to be a bit nasty when that hits the beach. So I may well regret this launching decision when it comes time to land. Given how much it's raining, I'll probably regret it before then. But the fish don't care if it's raining, and having spent the last 3 weeks at work staring at glorious weather and not being able to get out, I'm going fishing, rain or no rain. So here we are. Yeah, Poldhu then. We've got a sort of sandy area in front here, and there's some sandy area off to the right, but then it goes towards Dollar Cove, Church Cove, Gunwallow, which has all got like shallow reef in front of it, so you know, probably all right for picking up some bass. Don't know about pollock. But off to the left towards Mullion, which is the way I'm going to go today, Yeah, lots of shallow reef between here and Mullion, and then obviously there's the reef out beyond Mullion Island. But I can't see myself going out there unless I get there and it looks okay. Yeah, not sure yet. We're gonna have to see how it pans out given the conditions. And I'm just gonna stick in close here, troll some lures. There's a couple of spots I'll cast at when I get to them, and yeah, see if we can pick up a bass, because we're into April now. We're allowed to keep bass of legal size again. So if I get one or two worth keeping, I'll keep them. Right, bang some lures out, start making my way up there. Right, so tackle I've got out with me today. I've just come with my 2 spinning rods. So I've got a Penn spin 10 to 40 gram, 7 foot on my left hand side with a Akios Spyro 4000 GT reel, which are relatively cheap and have proven to be pretty good value for money, because these are in their 3rd year of kayak fishing, which is hard on gear really, and they're fine. I've got 20-pound spiderwire braid loaded up on that with like a short mono leader of about 4 foot, which is 20 pounds, just for a little bit of abrasion resistance and a little bit of shock resistance before a little clip. And then on the end I've got my favourite lures, which is the Savage Gear sand eel. I think I've got the light ones on today, 23 grams, because I'm only in shallow water. So I don't need anything heavy or big. So if I can fish a small lure, I'll fish a small lure, because obviously a big fish can eat a small lure, but a small fish can eat a big lure. And I'd rather catch, you know, anything than just be targeting the big ones to start off with. On my right hand side, it is a Fladen XTC 7 foot. That is a 10 to 30 gram rod. I mean, both of them are cheap rods. I'm not a big advocate of having expensive rods or anything particularly expensive on the water that might sink, apart from the kayak, because that's what keeps you afloat. So on that, yeah, another Akios Spyro. That's a 3000, 20-pound braid, 20-pound mono leader, and I've got a Savage Gear sand eel on that one, in a different colour. So I've got white on one side and I've got khaki on the other. Last time I fished, the khaki seemed to be a little bit more desirable to the fish, so you know, I like to fish one of each and just see which one gets the takes. Sometimes it doesn't matter, sometimes it might well make a difference. We are in, what are we in, 5 meters, 6 meters over some really bumpy sort of kelpie reef along this bit of coast, and I'm gonna just steadily go down here at a couple of knots, doing about 2 and a bit. Out of the wind actually. It's not bad here now. See if I get any takes, see if I mark anything on the sounder. There's a spot, well, there's a couple of spots down here that I like the look of, and I'll probably cast that for a little while. Yeah, the kayak setup I'm on, I will list in the description. So yeah, if you're interested in that, then check out the description. I've also done a couple of videos on this setup that I fish on anyway, so if you want to have a closer look, then yeah, check out my videos. There's at least one in there about how I set this thing up for this kind of trip. I'm looking over here thinking, oh, there's a seal. I'll turn my cameras on just in case I get a good shot of it. And I'm looking at it thinking, well, actually, is it a seal? Is it a crab pot boy? What is that? It's a diver. Snorkeling. We're over some sand here, actually. It's only like 3 meters. Yeah, nothing happened so far, but this little spot I'm looking at here, I'm toying with the idea of coming down here and shore fishing it, because it's accessible, I think, and to me looks like a good spot for some bass. So partly why I'm coming over it now, just to see if I mark anything, see if I get any takes here off the kayak. But we are, ooh, we're shallow. Yeah, it's there's a sandy area, but with like interspersed rocks around here, quite a lot of them. So I imagine when the tide is, like I said, at the moment there's probably not a lot of tide, but when the tide is pushing through here, there's lots of little ambush spots that whoa, okay, one of those, lots of ambush spots that bass will sit in. I would imagine, I would expect them to. So yeah, okay, nothing there, but doesn't mean there isn't going to be later in the tide. That's all right. There's a couple of spots up here I like to cast at, so that'll probably be my next step. I'm going to bring them through quick because there's not a lot of water there, so, and the visibility is good. If anything's, you know, it'll be visible from a good distance away, and I don't want to get snagged up because there's not much water. So just have a couple. Like I said, it's I suppose bass will feed and hunt in practically no water, so it doesn't have to be deep, but we'll just give it a shot. I think actually I'm almost at, well, I'm only 5 minutes or so pedal from the actual reef, so I might head out there and see what it's like. If the drift's not too quick and the wind's not too strong out there, I might just have an hour on the reef and then come back and fish these spots on the way back to the beach. Okay, nothing there on that couple of casts, so I'm not going to linger. I'm just going to, yeah, I think I'll just make my way out to the island there, see if there's any action on the end, and maybe pop out and spend a bit of time on the reef. Right, I've lined myself up, found out what way I'm drifting, lined myself up, so hopefully I'll drift over a peak in the reef, which I've picked up, you know, generally proven to provide me with a fish or two. I've marked a few fish on the sounder pedaling over the reef, but you know, as I found out last time, that doesn't mean they want to eat anything, but you know, at least it's a start, isn't it? I'm just doing what I do with the pollock fishing, so you drop your lure to the bottom and then you reel it up. But although that sounds easy, there is actually more to it than that. There's things you need to take into account, so the depth of the water, the speed of the current, because you want to keep your lure, really you want to be fishing it up and down. The more of an angle you've got it at, or the further away the line's sloping from you, the more likely you are to get it snagged up and lose it. Also, if you're fishing in deep water or a fast current and you've got a really light lure on it, it's often really difficult to tell when you have actually reached the bottom, and then of course you are going to, you know, be far more likely to snag up again. So if you're in deep water or you've got a fast drift on, it helps to put a heavier lure on, and then you can see when your line stops coming off the spool, flick the bail arm over, get it straight off the bottom, and that gives you the best chance of well, A, not losing your lures on the bottom, and also the most time, there you go, doing productive fishing, where your lure is actually in the water doing what it needs to do, not just lying on the bottom waiting for you to work out that that's where it is. At the moment I've got like a 20-gram lure on, and I can see when it's hitting the bottom, but I'm not in very deep water and I'm drifting at just under a knot, which is pretty much the speed I like to drift at, to be fair. I don't like it when it's too slow. That felt a bit suspicious, like something might pick that up. Something else picked that up. Yes. I thought that was taking a while. Something snatched that. I think maybe a wrasse, you know. I promised myself I'd never get into the predicament on the end game. Because I'm not very good at it. Yeah, it's just a pollock, little pollock. That's all right though, blank's off. Oh, blank is off. Oh, so is nearly the fish. Let's get him up so you can have a look. There he is. Just a little tiny one. You can go back. That's a hit. That's a fish. Another little one. That one is a wrasse. I didn't predict that. That's a nice pretty one. Let's get him up. Nice. Let's get straight for my pliers with you lot. Angry wrasse. Let's have a look at him. Oh, he's going all rigid. But he won't stay rigid when I pick him up. That's nice, look at that. Wrasse. Being a good fish. There you go, bud. I've moved the drift slightly just to put me on the other side of that peak and see what's about there. I'm going to fish with the white Savage Gear sandeel. So the khaki got one small pollock and a fancy wrasse. We'll see what we can get with the white one, if we get into the white one. Hardly scientific, but you know, I'm going to do it. So we're just now starting to sort of go up on the bottom. Is that a bite? That's a bite. Yeah, that's a fish. I have my drag set. Oh, he's dropped that. I have my drag set really light because I was trolling. That's a fish. I don't know if it's the same one. Clouds are parting a little. So the forecast might have been bang on. What have we got then? Another little pollock. Not tiny, but still not big enough to bother take it unless you're, you know, starving. Which I'm not. Clearly sitting in this. There we are, another little pollock. Lots of marks there at mid-water. That is odd. They're still there. I might just sort of, yeah, hit straight away. Fish on that. He doesn't know. He's gonna know soon enough. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I go as far as to say that's a better fish. There's quite a few marks on this little piece. Right, so changing the drift there was good by those things. Ah, felt like a better fish. Looks like the same one. Come on, something slightly bigger. Ooh, got a net, I want you to use your net, you fool. Oh, there's a load of fish down there. Okay. Fraction, I don't know, about the same, isn't it? This fish. Well, there it is, folks. The sun is out, more or less. I've reset that drift, so I'm just going to target the bit where I marked all those fish. That's it. Oh. That'd be nice. That was a hit, and that's a fish. Now, I'm going to run this drift out, and then I think I'm going to have a little pedal about. I did mark some sort of bigger looking marks on the way out here, so I might have a little look around, see if I can find something like that. Oh, there's that wrasse again. We've seen you. We're looking for something else. Well, good noises. Chillfish. That's easy for me to say. That's another lovely wrasse, actually. Who doesn't want to come up? Come on, up we get. Yeah, pretty. I like these like red ones. He's got some lovely blue on the bottom of that fin. You won't see that on the camera, but yeah, lovely little blue tinge on those fins. They're pretty fish, aren't they? For oops, sorry, he's gone. I've had a pedal round looking for some obvious marks for fish, but I haven't really come across anything, so I'll have another drift back where I was a minute ago, see if I can winkle out a pollock worthy of the table. Just have like another 15 minutes here, and then I'll start making my way back, casting at spots I think look potentially fishy, and trolling in between. Now the sun's come out. It's lovely, which is just as well, because I had trouble taking that lure off then, so my hands must be freezing. The sand eels, well, nothing seems to be happening, so I'm going to go back to one of the old favourites, which is a Storm Biscay 360 GT in blue mackerel flavour. Just going to see if I can tease anything out with this. These used to be my go-to lure before they became hard to find, and the prices all of a sudden leapt up, and then I swapped over to the Savage Gear sand eels and never really looked back. But occasionally, I guess if you're seeing fish on the fish finder and they're not taking your lures, you've got to swap it up a little bit, haven't you? So that stopped going down. That means I've got a fish on it. Yeah. It's not much of a fish. Smallest pollock so far. Oh yeah, it's tiny. Yeah, I didn't realise I was so cold actually. Right, this is going to be my last drift out the back of the island. I've got a little bit, there's a fair way to go to get back to the beach, and a few spots I want to fish on the way. So yeah, last drift behind the island, last chance really for a decent pollock. All I expect to be looking at getting in those other spots is bass, really. So looking for a nice 5 or 6 pounder on this drift. Okay, we appear to be experiencing a technical difficulty with the camera, so I'm just going to do my best. Just do my best from here. The remote's not working. I think I've got it soaked one too many times. So I'm at the first spot I want to try. I'm literally just going to give it a few casts and then move on, because I've got there's probably 5 spots I'd like to try on the way back. Right, okay folks, this is last chance saloon here. So this is the little area I spoke about on the way out, which had a load of sort of submerged bommies, I suppose you'd call them, down there on a sandy patch. So I'm going to lob this lure around a little bit. And see. They're quite difficult to spot now. I don't want to get too close, because I don't want to get pushed in too close on the shore. If only I had a kayak with a reverse pedal drive. Hey, you can see why that would come in useful. Right folks, thanks for joining me today for my launch from Poldhu. First time for the channel, first time for me actually, but yeah, hopefully now you've got some idea of what it's like getting down there. Parking, shops there, toilets there. The pool to the launch is not bad at all actually. At low tide, yeah, it's going to be quite long. One thing I would say though is just look at the swell there, because quite often if you get, well, I'm here on an easterly wind, and that has flattened this right out, so we've got hardly any swell, which made launching there and hopefully landing a piece of cake. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? I'll add this one to my playlist of places to launch and fish down here in the southwest of Cornwall. If that kind of thing is interesting to you, or you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I'll keep my channel growing, keep it going. And I've got exciting news, well, exciting for me, coming within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel for that. Thanks for joining me. Cheers for now.